Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Frank with Frankly Collecting, and today I've got a quick review of MetaZoo UFO booster boxes. Now, I just got my sealed product in. I haven't looked too much at the single cards up on TCG Player or seen a lot of spoilers. I really kind of like just the open my MetaZoo sets and kind of discover a lot of the cards as I'm moving through the boxes. But I just wanted to give you my first impressions. Now, just a couple of quick announcements. You might have noticed it's been almost 2 weeks since my last video. And basically, the fall term for my graduate school program has just started back up. And it's just been getting a little bit busier around here. So yes, I'm still making YouTube videos. I'm just going to kind of slow down just a little bit. Try to keep up one video a week, but it might be every 2 weeks. So we're just going to have to see going forward. Now, I do have 2 videos coming out pretty soon that I have planned. Number one, I want to finish our 500 subscriber Q&A. So we got the part 3. You all submitted a question, and it is due to be answered in the part 3. Rest assured, I am getting to that. That is on my schedule to finish. And then also, thanks so much, Sam, for reaching out to me from Jim Blender's TCG. He sent me a couple of pre-constructed decks that I'm going to be reviewing. I'll be doing a video on those on my channel. So I'm not sure which video is going to be coming first, but both of those videos are definitely going to be done. Just thank you for your patience getting through this September here. Now, those of you who have been with me since the very beginning of this channel know that when I started teaching in my middle school job, which I'm no longer in, last year, that fall, I took 3 months off YouTube. I don't even think I did a single video for about 3 months. So you may remember that. I'm not going to be doing that again this semester, but I am taking a little bit of a slower pace. So thank you all for your patience and for continuing to join me on this channel. Now, these MetaZoo UFO booster boxes, I did get these from Card Shop Live. They sent me this pamphlet here. They were about the lowest on TCG Player at the time. There were a couple sellers lower, but they were the first seller to have 100% feedback. So I don't mind going up for a little bit of a higher price to get someone with 100% feedback. And they sent these super fast. I decided to go ahead and go in at around the $72 price point, which is what I got these boxes at, because MetaZoo released their binder for UFO up on the website. And that's just my strategy. Is I kind of anticipated prices would go down a little bit. There was a lot of booster boxes for sort of the overall economic environment. So my strategy was, whenever they release their binder, I'll just buy my boxes at whatever price they're at that time. And so I looked and they were about 72 bucks. I feel like this is a good price to get in on this item. Remember, this is a MSRP of $140. So you're getting about 50% off right now. Now, could they go down to $50 or $60? I think 60 might be possible, just if economic conditions just kind of stay the way they are or even worsen. I'm not sure about 50. I feel like a lot of people, if they have them, when it gets down to $50, I feel like, if it were me, I probably just wouldn't even bother listing them at that price. You never know. I don't have the perspective of a TCG shop owner or anything like that. So it just feels like it's getting a little bit too low at that price range. So I feel like $70 is really a good price point. Could they get lower? Sure, but I'm not really worried about it. I mean, I'm just kind of buying this to rip and have fun and put in my binder and then move on with my collecting life. So the time is now for me for this product. I'm going to tell you my timeline for how these boxes I think will appreciate. But first, just kind of give you some real quick impressions. So the boxes look really spectacular up close. They have this very sort of like shiny or glossy sheen to the boxes. They're really reflective. I don't know if you can see them that well in this environment that I'm shooting at today, but I like the box display. It's a good size. If you're a sealed collector, you're going to be very happy that this doesn't take up a huge footprint, and it does display very nicely. I like that it has Flatwood Monster front and center here. And now I've heard some comments, I forget if it was from a particular YouTube video or maybe some commenters or someone, but I've heard the perspective that Flatwood Monster is kind of a little bit underwhelming as the lead cryptid for the set. And I disagree with that. Flatwood Monster is an awesome sort of Martian folklore creature. And keep in mind too that Flatwood Monster is from West Virginia, which is where Mothman is from. So if Mothman is the sort of key chase card in MetaZoo, it kind of makes sense to give Flatwood Monster a lot of limelight too. He's kind of connected to Mothman by being from West Virginia as well. So I think that's really cool, and I like the way that Flatwood Monster is depicted here. I think this is the coolest depiction of Flatwood Monster we've gotten. I like it over the original Kickstarter and first edition Cryptid Nation Flatwood Monster. And yeah, it looks really nice. I could see this being a card in full holo to go after in PSA 10, to rip boxes and ship them and try to get PSA 10s of that card. Yeah, it'll be very collectible over time. Now, I've also heard sort of criticism around the theme of the set, of it not being too UFO or space oriented. And sort of my take on this is a little bit different. I actually like how MetaZoo throughout their sets, it has enough of a strong theme, but it's not overdoing it. You know, if you look at Nightfall, right? They've got a lot of spooky Halloween themed creatures in that, but they also have like an abduction card. So they've got a little bit of that UFO element to it. And in general, each set has a few cards in it that could fit well with a totally different theme. And I think that's really cool. You know, I think it's almost too kind of generic to overdo the theme. And if you think about MetaZoo's lore, you know, these different creatures and cryptids and environments, the characters kind of move in between them. They're not just like out in space and then out in the wilderness forest. It's sort of, there's a little bit more connection there. And I like seeing that reflected in the cards, right? This is kind of a whole world where these different environments and creatures and people are connected and moving back and forth. And that's reflected a little bit in the set. I think it's cool that, you know, you might have a dragon in UFO that's somehow entangled with some of these space creatures. I like that a lot. And going back to the Cryptid Nation, not the Cryptid Nation, the Flatwood Monster being the sort of key monster, you know, it would almost be too generic as well to have like the Men in Black or just like the Martian or something, you know, something really well known in UFO culture, Roswell, Area 51, to have that be sort of like the star of the show. I kind of like that it's something less expected. And Flatwood Monster has a great story. Not a lot of people know about Flatwood Monsters like they would know about maybe just Men in Black or something like that. So I think that's really cool. I think it's very classy to kind of have that cryptid to be kind of front and center for the set. So I think it's a great product. I think they did a great job. Packaging is fantastic. I like the cards that I've seen so far. I haven't seen them all. Again, I like the Flatwood Monsters. I like that it's not too heavily focused around the space theme. I think it's focused enough. I don't think it's, you know, under themed or whatever. I guess my only criticism would be, I guess, you know, the print run, but, you know, that's not MetaZoo's fault. You know, their audience is going to be growing. And, you know, with Seance, the next set coming out, it is going to be reduced to 50,000. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. But I think there's a bright future for UFO. I think they knocked it out of the park. I don't think it deserves quite the negative reception it's getting. I think if anything, people probably overhyped it. And we're probably bound to be disappointed no matter what. So I'm very happy with it. Great job, MetaZoo. You know, I'm not really speculating or investing on sealed products anymore, just mainly because of the storage issues with these kinds of things. I just don't have the storage space for it. So, you know, I'll rip it open and I'll get the cards I want, and then I'll kind of try to get rid of the bulk at some point. But sort of, if I had to answer, you know, my speculative guess on when prices will rise on this, I was thinking about this the other day, and, you know, kind of buckle your seatbelts for my very sort of bearish opinion on that. But I think, you know, we might be looking at 5 years for MSRP levels of pricing and beyond that. And the reason I'm giving such bearishness, you know, maybe it would be 2 years, 3 years. But I'm just listening to Rudy from Alpha Investments talk a lot about how we're not in 2020 anymore, and we've been wired to think about, you know, getting things off Target shelves and being able to flip them instantly for double the money, and those times are just not here right now. When you think about it, MetaZoo was born out of that particular time. Remember, one of the first Collecticon promos, I think it was the first one, is like ding bells on a rocket going to the moon, and that was during meme stocks and everything, and that's not a thing anymore, right? And so you have to keep that in mind. I think MetaZoo is adjusting to this new environment as well as a lot of us are. And what does MetaZoo, Rudy talk about with sealed investing, right? Like he aims for like 5 to 10%. It's supposed to be like a fairly conservative, something similar to a stock market type of gain. And yeah, so if we're thinking about that way, then, and it's $70 now, could go to 60. Why wouldn't it take 5 years to get back to 140 if they overprinted it for the economic environment and current audience? So that's sort of my bearish opinion on that. But honestly, I still think it's a great product. I'm not really thinking about these things in terms of speculating and investing. I think it's fun to talk about those things in that way. But ultimately, I'm collecting this. I'm enjoying this product. As a collector, I'm happy to get this at $70 and enjoy this awesome product. Again, I can't speak as a LGS. I sympathize, if you kind of had to get these for more than that and then have to sell at a loss, but I don't understand that aspect of it. I know MetaZoo is increasing the card quality and all of that kind of thing, and they need to have their price point set where they feel like they need them. And it's a tricky thing in this economy right now, and with things happening politically and globally and all that kind of stuff. So that was my quote unquote quick review of UFO. Let me know if you all agree or disagree and why down in the comments below. Like this video and subscribe. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. And I will see you in my next video. Thank you all.